and through the door, through Jesus, and we can recognize that He was the sacrifice for us, and we can wash, get rid of, maybe some of those outward things, because wash your hands and your feet. At least that's what they did then. And we can recognize that He's the bread of life, and that He is the light of the world, and that He's praying for us. But if we never go on and completely surrender our lives, the sad part is this. It's not long before we find ourselves going backwards instead of forwards. Sad, but true. Slipping back into the old life. Taking on the old attitudes. Moving back into things that we know God didn't intend for us to be involved in. The Old Testament tabernacle, there was only one man who was allowed to enter into the place where the holiness of God, His glory and His presence was so real and visible. And that was the high priest. And like I said, once a year, after he did all of the things that were instructed for his cleansing and offering all of the sacrifices for both his sin and the sin of the nation, then he would enter in beyond the veil into the Holy of Holies, into God's inner chamber, into the very throne room of God. Now, that had to be exciting. That had to be an exciting and yet very frightening, because you see, they had a clearer, at least at the beginning, they had a clearer understanding of who God is. They had seen what He did to the Egyptians, both through the plagues and when they washed up on the sea after being drowned. They had seen that. They had seen Him when He showed up and came and spoke to them. They had seen it. So, I think that the high priest, at least at the beginning, had a much clearer understanding of who God is and a great respect and awe for Him than perhaps you and I can have ever had. I don't know. There was a sermon that was preached by Jonathan Edwards. You probably read about it. Maybe you had to read it when you were in school, if you're old enough. Sinners in the hands of an angry God. There was an understanding that God is not like us, and that He is holy, and He does not tolerate the sin and the filthiness of this world. Okay. But I'm sure that for that high priest, it was one of those experiences he would never forget, particularly the first time he went in there.